Testing, 1, 2, testing. Well, hello there. If you notice that there's something a little bit different, that's because I'm not using the usual camera, because I typically use this, my iPhone 7 Plus. But as of last night, I dropped it on its face, and it may or may not have something to do with it. But I guess it's a common issue where the camera will fail, and I'm just getting a black screen. So for whatever reason, that's busted, and I'm gonna go to the Apple store today. I've got an appointment about 5:30 to get this sorted out. So we're gonna go there in a little bit. Been a fairly normal-ish day. Didn't get to have breakfast until a little bit later. First of all, slept in. Second, got a little bit frisky. Third, had to go to a tour of the hospital just in case the whole birth center thing that we're trying to do doesn't go over very well. I'm hoping that it does, because I would prefer to do it that way, because when we got to the hospital, I very quickly got reminded of why I'm not working in health, because hospitals suck, and it's just really depressing. And to think that, you know, a lot of people feel that the hospital route is the only way to do it. It definitely isn't. People have had babies forever without having to go to the hospital. And there are other ways, more natural ways. And then finally got home, had the standard breakfast. I did have a muffin. No, I had a lemon cake and a flat white before that. So I did have that at Perk on the way back home before breakfast. But as of right now, that's about all I've had. And then I'm gonna go take care of the phone thing. Tomorrow is my birthday, but that's kind of the least of my concerns. I know I feel like I should at least relish that a little bit, but seriously got bigger fish to fry. And with baby Ava on the way, I feel like it's just not the most important thing. Like, I feel like the thing that would make me happiest is to make sure that I'm staying on track and doing everything needed to make sure that family's happy, Ava's happy, Casey's happy. Because if all of those things are in place, then I'm gonna be happy, because I'm not gonna be stressed the hell out. I know it's weird. It's like this, I don't know, I don't want to go so far as to say it's enlightened, but they say that the secret to living is giving, and that you find happiness in doing things for others, not necessarily for yourself. Because if you're too focused on yourself, you tend to always look at the negative, or you're always looking at what you lack in your life, and you're striving to fix that, as opposed to doing things for others and all of that. And so I find that the more I focus on things outside of myself, the better that I feel. And obviously certain essential things I have to take care of, certain selfish things like feeding myself and clothing myself and making sure that I'm financially stable. Those are definitely very critical. I would say that's 51% of the picture. The other 49% is everybody else. Because otherwise, if I sacrifice myself unnecessarily, there won't be any of myself to give. It's hard to quantify that. It's hard to toe the line between what is scientific and factual and measurable and quantifiable, and just sort of airy-fairy and woo-woo. And I think a lot of times I kind of come off as that because of Los Angeles and my upbringing on the West Coast. But I also want to make things so that they're quantifiable. But if I go too far on the deep end of that, then I sound like a cold, overly scientific human being who isn't considerate of people's feelings. So I have to strike the balance. All that to say that tomorrow's my birthday. That's cool and all, but I got bigger fish to fry, and I would be more satisfied with ensuring that a lot of those things are taken care of and in place. I'm out. I feel like I should listen to more hip hop. It's really cheesy, but something about it just kind of puts me in this mood to kill it. And you guys can say it's shallow or whatnot, but growing up, one of the things that really tore my family apart, and this is getting really deep, I'm just kind of in a deep mood today, or lately, I guess. And it's a hard balance to strike because I want to be sincere and honest with you guys, but at the same time I want to show you like the good parts of life, but you don't get the good without the bad. So in this case, since money was always an issue, it was kind of the sore spot where like the family, it seemed, was never happy. And I know that shouldn't be the basis for what makes me happy, because I also understand that if you always try to fill that gap, that space where you need the money, you'll always actually, interestingly enough, you're actually always going to jeopardize yourself so that you find yourself in a place where you have to chase it. So you have to separate yourself. Just be content in the fact that if everything was taken away, if it was just you, you would be happy. Absolutely happy. The pursuit of money, like sports, ought to be something that you chase because it's something you want to do. Each dollar ought to be more like a point or a score on the board, rather than you justifying whether or not you're happy. Because though, yes, you know, having food and a place to live and clothes on your back is important, you can manage with lesser oftentimes, and it won't ruin whether or not you're happy or not. Because obviously there are people with far less who are very happy. There are also people far less who are very miserable. But the most important part in either of those cases is they understand that they don't need anything more than what's in front of them to make them happy. Now, obviously, there are people who are just poor and who are contented in those circumstances and will never strive for anything greater. But there are also people who are poor who want more, and you can strive for more. But if it's in the if it's in the striving for more that you are rewarded with money as well, all the more good to you. And I think in this case, as I've gotten older, I have to learn to separate whether or not I'm happy or not because of money. Because I've found also that if I constantly say, especially in my relationship with Casey, that we can't be happy, we can't go do stuff, we can't experience certain things without money, it just creates this wedge between us, because there's always that need that money is the thing that's going to make us happy, when, like she puts it very simply, she would be totally fine if we just went on a walk, if we went to the park, if we saw a sunset. Those things don't need money. But for greater things, greater aspirational things like traveling the world and whatnot, or having nicer things, which in themselves are just experiences, you have to earn a little bit more just to access those things. And it's just a matter of access. But what if you realize that access doesn't necessarily mean money? For example, I'm also a big fan of Tim Ferriss. If you can find some way to leverage your skill or something that you do to allow you to have access to great events or far off places, because maybe you have a contract to, like in my case, I'm trying to build up a media company. If you're sent out or flown out somewhere to another state or another country to shoot a video or to shoot some photography, and you're paid for it, or the whole trip is paid for, then you'll have covered that and you'll have a new experience. I hope that all that makes sense. If you guys have any questions, please shoot me a message, because it's all very complicated, and I realize that I kind of take it for granted that this is stuff I've had to pick up and distill and sort of figure out over the course of so many years. And I think it matters more if you can actually understand what I'm talking about and we can have a dialogue. And why hip-hop? Because you can call it superficial for whatever values that you happen to have, but it just puts me in that mindset, in that competitive mindset of striving to earn money, not for the sake of compensating for my lack of happiness, but more just to earn it, just that competitive drive to get money and sort of focus on it. And I think that applies to anything. Like in powerlifting, is it superficial to have your psych up music to make you focused on competing and kicking the other competitors' asses? I don't think that's bad. And I don't think it's bad either to want to strive to have more money, to have more access to things that you want. And I don't think that other people should tell you that it's superficial or shallow to strive for those things. So that's why I think it's totally cool to listen to hip hop and have it be like, yeah, you know, I want some bling bling, and I want some like, I tell Casey all the time, I want like a platinum grill. Just fangs, just platinum fangs. If I ever get to that level, just a nice little nudge to the ribs in society. That's it. Quick stop to this place. Hey, and we are at UTC. It's an alright spot, but once again, we're here to get this shit fixed, cause I'm vlogging on that better, and also I can, well, see, here's what I'm thinking now. I can have 2 cameras running. I can have this, the GoPro, and I can have this. Kind of like that. I want to be able to just switch between the 2 of them, and all I need is to switch out. There's a little adapter for the cable and the audio. Otherwise, this gives me the flexibility to do some social media stuff on this guy, and then switch over and do some different angles and whatnot with a separate camera. That's what I'm thinking, just so I can make it more entertaining for you guys. Here we are at UTC, University Town Center. It's nice, but it's very Florida, you know? Reminds me of the Westfield Shopping Center in Culver City. It's nice, but it's also like super generic, and the food isn't that amazing. They make it out to be like a super sick place. Maybe I'm missing out. There's a couple of places in here I haven't actually tried. It's got all your standards. Fortunately, it's got a Lucky in here, and I need to replace my jeans soon, so that's gonna happen. But see you inside. Fix this. That was really cool. So, brand new phone, which is cool. No scratches anymore. Now I just, so brand new phone, awesome guy. Got to talk a little bit of business. And I like talking and coaching through things because it also helps me understand sort of the principles that I've come to learn. So, gonna go and kind of refocus on business. I'm gonna go home and do some birthday stuff, I guess. Finances are kind of tight at the moment, so yeah. Such is life, but it's no reason to not take in life. Obviously, you can probably tell from earlier conversation and even what I said right now that money kind of matters. And I think not enough people really understand that, sure, money should never be the root of anything for your happiness, but you do need to take care of some basic things. So, let's get you tackled. Anyways, I'm gonna get this guy to pee, get this guy to poop, and then we're gonna go, and I'll show you guys that in a second. So dark. Yep. He's being good about this. I'm getting in the car. We're doing stuff. Yeah. The bulgogi food truck that I've been pining for is here. So we'll get to try that out. I'm just missing flavors from Los Angeles.
Make sure you lock it.
Yeah. Hey, dog. No, I guess we're parked there. And this guy can go. Oh yeah, it's definitely parking. Again, I love that you can consider this parking. Like, that's basically on grass. On probably private property, I don't know. But the food truck's here. So stoked on this right now. It's the 3-meat combo with I guess sweet potato noodles. This could be a thing. Like, I've been chasing these guys for a while. And I got a side of kimchi. I'm gonna try to figure out my macros on this, but this is my IIFYM experiment. I've got some stuff to say about that later. Like, really spicy? I did say mild, but I guess his mild is not that mild. Kimchi? Definitely kimchi. Definitely on the milder side. Not as sweet, but definitely kimchi. What do you think, fam? Really wanting to go for round 2. I think I'm gonna do round 2. Those guys are awesome. They're super nice. Food's really good and flavorful. It's something I miss about Los Angeles. There's just something about food here in Sarasota that's kind of mild. Because, well, you know, the clientele is mostly older people. They're kind of shy on the salt.